Hello, fast and bulbous. Welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. This is an avant-garde edition of the Wenton King. At one point we'll swap over and I'll sit there and then we can do a bit of stuff. Because we're recording a review of Trout Replica. I feel like we should be on drugs to review this for the first time. All the albums we've done, even awkward. Somehow, yeah. Okay, so this is his most famous album. Obviously, it's a double album as well. So we were talking about not doing double albums, and this is another one, sort of. Well, it's not so much a double album; it's just very long, 28 songs.
That is the one, yeah. Really help on that didn't last long. Rudely interrupted there by a local newspaper seller.
Genuinely. So yeah, he was acclaimed, but not a successful artist at this point. He kind of never was actually, but that's kind of another story. So yeah, what is this music? Is it avant-garde? I suppose it is, but it's not the avant-garde we talk about. We like profound, snooty Euro avant-garde. It's very serious. It's not that this isn't serious. It does, but it has humour in it as well. And it's a different thing. Yeah, we like Perez and stuff. Is it just people randomly making a noise who can't play their instruments? It sounds like that, superficially certainly. Back to the blues. If you think of like Led Zeppelin or Cream or whatever, that's a natural progression from blues, isn't it? And it's about tightening the tempos and bringing in sort of traditional notions of playing and making it electrified and made it more accessible. There's no doubt Led Zeppelin is more accessible than Robert Johnson. So maybe this is coming from there, but going in a completely different direction. And if you actually listen to like Robert Johnson and Blind Willie McMillan, whoever, those people, are they really any less avant-garde? They're just as out of sync. There's no beat. Or even Keith Richards. If you listen to certainly more recent Keith Richards, last 20 years, you watch him playing his rhythm part, he's just going brr, brr. It's avant-garde almost if you think about it. It's not played normally. So maybe this is just a different route from traditional blues. It doesn't tighten the tempo, it doesn't normalise it, but it brings it forward into the electric age, in a less obvious way, maybe. Some of the most creative, original drumming ever is in this album. Some of the most fantastic, mad blues shouting ever. But really, as much as I enjoy listening to it, and I do enjoy listening to it, I've had this for 20 years, I think. I reckon I got this while we were still at school.
Right.
1996 at least. But in truth, as much as I enjoy listening to it, or at least I don't really know why I enjoy listening to it, because I do laugh while I'm listening to it. You are supposed to laugh. But regardless, I get more enjoyment out of watching Sam listen to it than listen to it, because it is some of the funniest music ever. It is the most ridiculous music ever. I like the bit where it sounds like the drummer fell down the stairs. Turns out he did, but I'll explain that in a minute if you can watch the video all the way through.
Yeah, it's a challenging listen, isn't it?
But yeah, well, we review challenging music here. It's certainly challenging.
But quite often with challenging music, some come with quite the weight of expectation as Trout Replica, because a lot of people think this is very, very good. And quite often, very early on, you can kind of see, you can kind of get a sense of the payoff early on if you put the effort in to sort of get past the difficult introduction, which I don't get at all with this. I just think this is just noise. It's ridiculous, and I don't find it. I mean, if it's meant to be funny, yeah, this is okay. Trying to explain why I don't think this is funny is
I don't think it's funny.
Okay. I don't think it's funny. In order to be funny, it's got to have some kind of self-referential, some kind of tongue-in-cheek, overtly tongue-in-cheek moment to it, and I don't see where the tongue-in-cheekness comes into it here. So if we take something which is one of the best series ever made, which is Garth Marenghi.
Yes. Yeah.
Completely absurd,
Yeah.
completely tongue-in-cheek, but we all know it's tongue-in-cheek, and the writers and the creators know it's tongue-in-cheek. I don't get that sense from this.
You're right. Because there's a thing about, with Garth Marenghi, there's something in it that's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's funny.
But it's knowingly terrible. Yeah?
This isn't
deliberately
this
terrible.
isn't terrible, actually. It sounds terrible. But yeah, it's not intentionally terrible, it's meant to be terrible in that sense.
Yeah, so I don't think, well, it's not funny. It's just
Dachau
not funny. Stop laughing.
Blues. I love it in it's Dachau Blues. Probably my favourite bit of the album. Probably my favourite bit of the album is Dachau Blues, which is and he's going Dachau Blues like that. And there's a bit where it's the first time. I think it's the first time there's any woodwind on the album, but it just starts. But why do I like that? I mean, there's these YouTube videos. I imagine people watching YouTube would have seen these shreds videos. I think that there's the really big ones. There's a Kiss one. You need to. I mean, it's better if you see the original video. What people do is they're recording new sound on music videos because they're miming. They're not really mouthing it right, so you can make them sing something different. And they put whole different music over the top of it, and it's with the Kiss one. It's I Was Made for Loving You. So watch the original video first, and then watch that. And it makes me laugh every time. I'm quite sad like that. I could watch it 100 times. And there's a Bohemian Rhapsody one, which is amazing. There was a Stones one as well, but I think it got and in a way, that's deliberately bad, like Garth Marenghi, and it kind of sounds like this. So maybe it's funny for the same reason. It's difficult, isn't it? And at the same time, we should say about there's two really special things about this. And one is sort of a genuine sort of Delta blues voice injected with rocket fuel, and some fantastic drumming, the most creative drumming in history. Drumbo is a genius. For me, it's hardest to get through to that because of the guitar playing actually, and the guitar playing really does sound like it's. If you've ever given some kids some instruments to just make noise on. That's what it sounds like. And maybe that's because I'm a guitarist. I can't let go of the disciplines and the rules, which is strange. When we're coming from a place where we're looking for stuff that's breaking the rules, but it does it so completely, seemingly without control, that it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, you can break the rules, and still produce fantastically interesting and evocative music. So you think, the diatonic, sort of like chromatic music, which seems all over the place, And
it sounds like music.
And it sounds like music, and it's, normally it's quite unsettling, and it's, it's given a sort of modern label. But this isn't that. It doesn't. It's missing something vital from music, which is the sort of that evocative emotion isn't there. It doesn't raise any emotions in you. It doesn't sort of change your mindset other than to the friggin' hell am I listening to this for?
But that in itself is a thing. This is still on. I'm still listening to this.
Yeah, I mean that joke can be funny. Yeah. Here I come to see the day. Was it the Mighty Mouse thing?
Yeah.
I mean that in itself can be funny, but is that really the joke?
No. It is.
It's not. That's not a clever enough joke.
Yeah, unless you're me, that doesn't last. That joke doesn't last that 28 songs. Yeah. Unless you're me. But as well as that, it is considered a good album, and there is some fantastic drumming on there. There is actually a version you can get without the vocals on. I would like a version without the guitar actually. You probably can't get that. There's probably too much bleed between the instruments. It's nothing like Frank Zappa. Zappa is a completely different thing, and I think that's really significant. And it's not really prog. I don't think there's a Euro influence in there. There is a free jazz influence in there, but not a Euro free jazz. And the other thing is, they're not practicing musicians. They're, in the sense that Zappa would have to hire these conservatory trained or training musicians later on. They had to be really, really good by the 80s. They're not like that. But basically, they just spent months and months and months practicing it until they could do it, and they did it. And that I think that contributes to the wobbliness of it, and I'm sure the argument is that makes it more unique as well, but it would be a different album if it was played by practicing musicians. But yeah, I mean, obviously, as we know, everyone knows they were childhood friends, Zappa and him, and back in the Cucamonga days, there was Captain Beefheart and the Grunt People was going to be a B-movie, and I think that's where the name came from originally. It was actually, I think, allegedly Zappa coined name before Zappa went to prison. I think I'm not going to say why he's called Captain Beefheart, where the Beefheart comes from, because it's disgusting. You can look that up if you like, if you really want to know, and you'll regret it. In the script, his mother would play herself, which is really strange, and his father was going to be played by Howlin' Wolf. Interesting. That's really interesting. But maybe that's not true. Maybe that's a subsequent mythology thing to make him, But they bumped into each other in KFC in like 1960. Maybe it was 68, 69. It's funny it's in KFC. It's so typical of that deliberately gross kind of vibe of yours in KFC. And Zappa was just starting doing his own record label called Straight Records, and Alice Cooper was going to be on it as well. So very early Alice Cooper on that, and this. And he claims, Don Vliet, occurred to me, I don't know how to pronounce it. I've always assumed it's Vliet, but it might not be. He says he wrote the whole thing in one 8-hour stint at the piano, and he could have done it quicker if he knew how to play the piano. And then they had about 6 or 8 months, or 8.5 months, or 9 months, depending on who you ask, of rehearsal, which is basically Drumbo figuring out how is this music, and teaching it to the musicians to get them to actually be able to play it. So when they went in to play it, either 4 or 8 hours it took, depending on who you ask again, because they just played it. How could they do this so quickly? Zappa had this idea, he called it an ethnic field recording. They wanted to record it in a house and just record people in different rooms and have that sort of sound of where the place they're living in, But straight away his band didn't get on, and there was actual physical fights and stuff like this, and I think Drumbo was actually fired from the band and not credited originally. I think maybe he's credited in here, but even though he played a huge part in this, with the arrangements and everything, but he was fired by being pushed down the stairs by Captain Beefheart. And the reason he was pushed down the stairs was because he objected to being asked to play a strawberry on the drums. He didn't know what that meant. What are you talking about? Just play a strawberry. Come on, play a strawberry. Because this is the thing, he's nothing like Zappa. He's not a muso at all. He didn't have any technical knowledge or anything like that. He played saxophone and whatever, but it also meant Zappa, the producer, supposed producer, whether he actually produced or not is the question, couldn't really communicate with him, because Captain Beefheart wants to talk about strawberries. and so Zappa can't say, well, this is 3 bars here, and because he won't know what that means. And in the end, he decided, well, the best thing to do is keep his mouth shut. And actually, that to me makes sense. In that, something like this, you just leave him to it. There's no point in trying to tame it. There's no point in trying to. All you'll do is dilute it, and with something so extreme and ridiculous, in a good or bad way. There's no point in trying to tame it. You've got to let him do his thing and record it. This did mean, things like putting cardboard over the drums. And so when he recorded his vocals, he did it in the other room without headphones, so you could just about hear it seeping through the window. So that's why the vocals are kind of not really in time. So yeah, it's all very, I find it hilarious. And I think everyone knows that there is a humorous element to it. He was deadly serious about this as something different, and in the end, it was never going to be commercial. That was never going to happen. I do think the other album people should hear is I Was Cream for Crow. Surprisingly, the last album in '82, because I think he's got more technical musicians playing it much more tightly, and it's more rhythmic. It makes it more obvious what it's supposed to be. And then he retired. And that's the thing. I think he realised, obviously, it just wasn't financially viable to do this, really. And he must have realised he's making money from the back catalogue. There's no point in spending that on touring and not making any money. And of course, he's a painter and a sculptor, and that was his thing. Different characters as Zappa, who was so sort of socially savvy and business savvy. He had none of that. He wasn't interested in the outside world, almost, So this interesting character and a really interesting album, and there are no eggs for this album. It gets all eggs. It gets all 6 eggs together. 1 egg, 2 egg, 3 egg, 4 egg, 5 egg, and 6 eggs. It's all eggs. Can you even egg?
Yeah. I'll give it 1 egg with the caveat But I'm glad it exists, yeah. But I'm even more glad that I don't have to listen to it. I don't own it. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to listen to it again. Well, maybe, in about 30 years' time.
You'll think, I remember that. That was horrible.
Let's listen to that again.
Well, I mean, would you think now? Oh, I remember Wigfields from the 90s. I think I'll listen to that again. That's not what happened, is it?
Yeah, but I dismiss that.
Yeah, you can't dismiss that, can you? Because this is at the very least ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes the world a more interesting place. Put it that way. I mean, which is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
Not all musicians can say that.
Yeah.
Not all there are albums by highly regarded musicians.
99% of music can't say that.
So yeah, I mean, thank God that's over.
Yes. We haven't decided what we're doing next week, and I don't know. We need to do something different now, don't we? So yeah, we decided to do Elbow next week. one album by Elbow. Very strange. The Seldom Seen Kid, apparently.
Yeah.
See you then.